Thank you. Thank you. Wow, it's so good to see so many wonderful people. So many firsts here, actually. Really, really great firsts here. Um, Probably some of you don't know this, but we have film stars here. We've got film producers. We've got a guy who was amazing. He managed to get on a TED talk and he never filled in forms. He never paid any money. How many of you would like that, just to be able to give a TED talk and not do that? Yeah, there, that's that man over there. Ask him how he does it. Yeah, his name's Trajan, right? Um, Top comedian Gordana, please just share it. And now I met Gordana in a hotel, drinking red wine, and so in the lobby, she was just drinking red wine and sharing it with everyone. That's what I'm saying. If you want a glass of red wine, just follow her to the bar. Yeah, very giving lady, invites my son and a whole bunch of people to a party and films it, pays them all, I don't know, £5,000. She paid the money. I'm thinking, what's that about? So very generous lady. The first person I ever took to a ball, there's Nikki here. Beautiful lady from my past as well. We went to university together. Yeah, stand up and say hello. Yeah, yeah. She's got a charity to help people in, I think it's India. She does. Some of my dancey friends, Geraldine, Aliki, Fabio. If you just stand up. Yeah. Can you? They've had to put up with me for the last the last 6, 7 months. So they have to cope with my crazy personality. Yeah. Just wonderful, wonderful people. I'll introduce you to a few. Well, maybe here, Stephen. Random person, met in a hotel. What, a month ago was it? invited him to my place in Covent Garden. Had a great time. Just really crazy stuff that happens. All right, so I don't know why I keep wasting time like this, because I'm trying to kind of compress the talk is actually 2 hours. I'm trying to. We've got social proof that as a young boy I was really awkward, right? So I had no social skills. Is that true? I had zero social skills, right? Do not know even why she went to the ball with me, but. Thank you so much. But zero social skills. In fact, when I left university, people were saying, "Oh, you know, lots of us were scared of you, Ben." Okay. Over time, I developed how to be a little bit more sociable, and I remember when I was sleeping on the floor with I think 7 other people, I kind of thought I really should not do this anymore. And I was eating porridge and I don't know, cornflakes for dinner. And this is the whole thing. I'm not making jokes, but people are laughing. I've never understood this about my personality. So that's what I was doing. And then this kind of thing happened to me. I do feel very, very blessed. And what happened was today, my life is very, very different. I literally have spoken to hundreds of thousands of people around the world to help them in 70 plus countries. As a little joke, I'm asking friends around the world when they write a comment on my TED talk just to say which country they're from. I don't know. Just these things amuse me. Does anyone do things that amuse them? For no reason at all? Like, oh yeah, this is really cool. As Simone said, done a lot of things in the media world and the tech world. Leith here, he's also in dance, for those of you who don't know, top dancer, won a lot of gold medals, but also has produced his own films. So if you're interested in the film world, please speak to Leith and Red. And Johnny, who spoke earlier, he's a star of quite a few little snippets. So again, you might want to. If you want a good-looking guy, James Bond style, there's Johnny. By the way, how many people, just out of interest, how many people are single? Anyone single? Okay. So Johnny is a top relationship. He is a top relationship coach. Here's the thing. I actually went on somebody else's course, but I met Johnny. Now, here's the number one thing. I had a bet, and a lot of the coaches there had this bet with me. Johnny is the only one who came and paid the bet. So I won the bet. I got a place in Covent Garden, came with a bottle of champagne, and I thought, yes, okay, you can be in my world because you honoured what you said, and that really spoke a lot to me about Johnny. But anyway, for those of you who are struggling, Johnny helped me tremendously in getting great tips to connect with people. So that's a little bit about my background, and this now is a black screen because I love black screens. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of things. A couple of people from the company I'm working with, Miles here and Lex, who's an honorary member because he was the founder. They run with me a business called Opportunities, which is a property business, and we help people earn money. So if you've got extra money, Sarah and Marco, Ian over there, and Isabel, they're from Property World. If you've got extra money, they will give you a percentage of their winnings, if you like, in making properties. So that's what we do. We also help other people buy properties if they think, oh, no, that's too little for me. 6%, 10%, whatever they offer you, that's too little. I'd like a little bit more. Can you help me? Or can you do all the work? I'll put up the money. So that's how we make people money. All right. What I want to really share about is how to be successful in anything you do. So it doesn't matter whether you want to be an entrepreneur or you want to have a career. Whatever you want to do, how can you be successful? And really, what I'm going to share with you is how I coach people, in achieving their dream life, their ambition. Now, there's several of you here who I've actually spent an hour with, or more, and Ian, can you just say what happened? Because Ian's the most recent person. Your hour of power with me. What happened? Apart from kicking your butt.
No, Ben completely changed my mindset on how I'm moving forward with my property business, and within 40 minutes of being with Ben, we spent 2.5 hours, but we're supposed to be an hour. But within 40 minutes, it changed my complete mindset on it. The following weekend, last weekend, I went down to Folkestone on with Ben's things in my mind, went down, saw one property, made an offer, got it accepted. We started our property business.
Yeah. Trajan has today he successfully got offered a job. So now Trajan he's really an interesting guy because I stalked him for 1.5 years. He was in my TED Talk on social magnetism, and I promised. So in the TED Talk, you'll see me doing a selfie with him, right? And I promised I'd post it. Anyway, my computer and my phone got stolen, so I never did that. So I thought I need to find the guy and apologize. So it took me 1.5 years, and suddenly I found him, and we had a great time. But we had this crazy time in Covent Garden. And he was telling me about job applications he was going for. What is the crazy thing I told you to do?
Interview the interviewer. Ooh.
Yeah. And one of the things I asked him to do was...
But you ask them questions, like interview questions.
Yeah.
Because they won't be like this and that.
Yeah. And so one of the questions, I didn't think he would do that. I said to ask the interview, I said to just say, ask them, if I was working in your company, what would my colleagues tell me about you if I was at the pub? Right? And I didn't believe he'd ask the question. He did, and they hired him. Right today, I was this. This is my good friend Aliki. This is her young man. By the way, who likes treasure? Anyone likes treasure here? right? He doesn't like to call it treasure hunts, but if you want to take a group of people to look for things around London, he's got these like little maps and things, and he'll give you clues. Isn't that right? Something like that. Something like that. Yes. Speak to him. Yeah, really very good. Anyway, so Aliki, she didn't like her boss, right? And she's decided to do her degree. So, she didn't like her degree. And she said, well, I'll have to earn some money somehow. I said, well, why don't you, what did I ask you to do to say to your boss?
To pay me the same amount that he was paying me, but for me to just do like projects for him without working for him, but not have to like actually sing because I didn't like him at all.
Yeah, he didn't. And anyway, Aliki said, no, this will never work. But I said, well, ask him anyway. And he agrees. He says, actually, she made a choice not to because she didn't like him anyway. So she said, so after she said yes, she said, no, I don't want to be with her. But it's all about, this map is all about, they talk about working hard and working smart. I believe in both. I don't believe people who say you have to work smart but not work hard. I think that's a terrible thing to say. I think you can work hard and smart, and by doing certain things, like I've shared with several people here, you can actually achieve a lot of stuff very, very quickly. Now, your roadmap starts, normally we start with a why, but normally I find that most people, when they say their why, it's kind of like rubbish. I don't believe what they're saying. Like, I'm doing this to support my family. I'm thinking, that's rubbish. Yeah, I know that sounds weird, and normally the lady who wrote this actually says, actually, you were right. These are my real reasons. So until you go on your entrepreneurial journey, you don't find that real reason. Why are you really doing it? What's the dopamine rush you get out of this journey? Number two, you need to have a dream life, and you need to price up that dream life. Yeah, in order to hit your goals. So this is what the 8% who succeed, they actually create this massive list of all their goals and then categorize them. They write them all down. Now, Miles and Lex have spent a lot of time with me. It's one of the things that I get everybody who's working me to do. Everyone in my team, in all the companies that today I run, I just want to know every single thing they do. And then I ask them to separate them into categories. Because one thing I know about goals is you cannot hit a goal if you've got 100 of them. You can only hit one of them. Or maybe you can hit more. How do we hit more than one? Because you can only focus on one goal. Everybody knows that, right? Anybody doesn't know that? Okay, good. Now, your one overall lifetime goal is your dream life. Is your dream life. What kind of person do you want to be with? Who do you want to be? What do you want to be doing? What kind of house? Which country? Which location? All of these things. And then you price it up. How many holidays do you want to do? Beyond your dream life, there's other activities such as what Nikki's doing, like her charity to the orphanages in India, right? So that's beyond that dream life. How are you going to give back to society? What do you want to do to deserve that life, if you like? So you write it all down. Write them all down in one long list. And then you get a spreadsheet out, or do it on a piece of paper, and you have 4 columns. Have you done this?
Something similar, I was looking at the word bucket.
Yes. Would you like it because you have it in your scavenge?
Yeah, because it's the name of
Oh.
it's called bucket race.
It's bucket race. Bucket. Yeah. So what do people Google if they want to?
Google bucket race.
Okay, Google bucket race and find Lawrence. Yeah. Tall young guy. So you create a column with, create a spreadsheet, have 4 columns, write down all the goals in the first column, and then in the second column, write when you want to complete those goals by. So there you've got your time limit. In the third down, write whether it's a short, medium, or long-term goal. Now, your dream life is your long-term goal. That long term could be 5 years, it could be 7, it could be 10, but that is your long term goal. That's the thing that is driving you all the time when you're going after your little mini goals. And I think I'd like to do, what's when you jump off planes? Yeah, I'd like to do one of those. I had a head injury. So if I forget things, I had a head injury. So you have to have some of those during your life journey. And the fourth column, how much will it cost? Everything has a number because I need to know how much money I need for stuff, yeah, to do things. Now, remember, here's the second rule. The 8% of people only, as I said, focus on one goal at a time, one big goal. So that's why I'm always saying prioritize. And what I'm going to do is show you now how to hit 7 goals at a time. How cool is that? And promise you it works because I've worked with a number of customers who've said, oh, I didn't know this was possible. Before I was confused because I had all these goals, but now you're helping me do 7 at a time. So here we go. You need to break down your goals into categories. Now, I asked you to do the finance, but here's the other ones which are equally important. Physical. What's the point of having all this money if you don't have the physique body for this? My team, my dance team, and Laith is also in dance, works out like tons. Look at him, working out like tons. Our choreographer Jeff, he makes us do 2 hours of gym before the choreography. What happens to most of us, Aliki?
For me, nothing.
Nothing, because she works out. I'll ask someone important who can answer this question. Geraldine, what happens?
We just get very tired.
We get very tired. It's more than tired. Can you walk the next day?
Yeah,
Or what about the day after? It's like that. It really is like that. He just drills us for 2 hours. We're not even doing any dancing, right? So it's really important. You look after your sleeping, your food, and your physique. Mental, again, what's the point of having tons of a dream life if you don't enjoy it mentally? Yeah. So you need to do things. You need to have one of those goals. And this is somebody else's who I'm coaching. Emotional. One of the ways to be successful is to be emotionally in control. You're not emotionally in control, Isabel.
I am so emotionally in control.
Oh, I can feel that. So if you're in a meeting and you get very angry with someone, yeah, how do you think the meeting's going to go when you start shouting and swearing at them? Not very well. Or if you don't have much confidence. So these are certain areas that you need to develop. Spiritual goals. Now, this is the one that always throws people. Why have you put spiritual goals here? For those of you who have a faith, then some of your spiritual goals might be getting closer to God. For those that don't have a faith, you might do something like meditation and so on. Now, why have we got spiritual goals here? Because there are a lot of universal laws. I've read the Bible, for example, 9 times. And one of the aspects of the Bible beyond, say, talking about God is there's a lot of knowledge about life and how life works and how the universe works, how business works, how you should connect with people. A lot of just what I call universal laws. So I always say this out of everything, and here's some examples of spiritual goals, is something that is so fundamental for you being aware. Tina at the back, she runs a business for single parents. So again, maybe Johnny, you could speak to Tina for some single men who've got kids. Single parents, really great thing. But again, her foundation, I believe, is in God. You have that belief that has helped you to grow. Relationships. Again, I feel that one of the reasons I'm so successful is because of my relationships with different people. Now, you guys have already here, you've seen, I've connected with random people like Stephen and stalked Trey and forever. And Pamela, how did we meet? like long time in Indonesia, right? It's like, oh, right. It's like, or Malaysia. Was it Malaysia? Jakarta, yes. No, she came on her own accord. So just I've got all sorts of people from different parts of my world. Anyone see that Friends episode where it says when worlds collide, when he deliberately kept his work people from his all his girlfriends or anyway. So that's what I've got here. People from my property world. I've got, in fact, Miles and Lex used to be from my media world. Trajan from my TED Talk world. Laith from the film world. Gordon from crazy red wine drinking world, but then I found out she's a great comedian and a top dancer, won gold medals in ballroom. Your relationship's so important. Without my kids today, I don't think, and without Miles and Lex in terms of business, I would not be as strong and be able to do as many things as I can do today. Your hobbies. Just trying to do things on your own is going to be very boring. Yeah, being an entrepreneur, working your way up the corporate ladder is just very boring. So have something that is outside of this world and work on that really, really hard. The Secret was a film which talked about the law of attraction. Now, The Secret was wrong because all The Secret taught you about was belief. Belief does not work on its own. Sorry, yeah. But you do need beliefs. You need to know that you can do it. 8% of it. Just believe it's going to happen. Everything that has happened badly to me, and Miles and Lex knows a few of these things, has worked for my benefit. It has moved me further. It's helped me make more money, have better relationships. Everything. Sometimes I don't know why. Here's a goal I had last year. Last year, I could not walk for the first 6 months. I had a back problem, so sometimes I was paralyzed. But I had a goal at the start of the year to be performing in an international congress. Well, it was Scotland, but that's international enough, right? That's hundreds of people. So there's me holding it. Unfortunately, this one's not a leaky. This is a Yavana. In the dance, but just be able to hold my back after that. Had a strategy. Always, so once you've set up your goals, you need a strategy. I worked out how to get my back fixed. I worked out then how to really committed myself to the whole choreography, practice every day. Some of my friends, I don't know whether it was Fabio, because Fabio is a great dancer, but they said, Ben, you're so good, and I wish I could be as good as you. But Fabio, I think, is a natural dancer. It's hard for me to learn. Laith knows that. I have to practice. But I was so determined to get up there. And all I said to some of the guys who wanted to be there is, I want it more than you do, because I'm willing to practice 2-3 hours a day. This TED Talk, another of my goals, to help 1 million people by 30th of December 2020. I'm going to hit that. The TED Talk is getting 2,000-3,000 views a day. So I've thought about this and seeing if I can do it in 6 months. I have a strategy for it. You need a strategy for everything you do. Normally, I believe that people, if they've got some kind of asset, but even starting from zero, can make £1 million by within 5 years. So I've got a website, 5 Years to Financial Freedom. This is my team here. Probably we've done that, with Infinity House, have hit £1 million. That's 4.5 years. And you need that strategy that I'm saying. We wrote down all the goals. We had tons of meetings, and I'll give you some other things in the 3 minutes I have left to help you get there. But you need that strategy, okay? Need a strategy. So the law of attraction gives you belief, but you need an action plan. Like I've said, with all those recent goals, we had action plans to help my personal, my business, and other areas. This is an old adage: prior planning prevents poor performance. 8% of people who succeed have a strategy. If you want to make to fund the orphanages in India, you need to have a strategy. You need to think, okay, what other people, for example, if I was to do this off the top of my head, how many people are interested in educating and helping young children? Right. Oh, look, we've got 4 people here, Nikki. Okay. And I know that Gordana is very much into this, but I'm not going to commit her to anything. So the next thing they do is they break those goals that I asked you to create. They break them into smaller goals. So here's what's happening if you're going to make $1 million. You might try to make £10,000 first. Anybody who says, Ben, I'd like to make $1 million by the end of the year, I say, can you make 10,000? They say no. So it's not going to happen. If you don't know how to make 10,000, how are you going to be able to make $1 million? Because you need different mindsets for that. If you can make 10,000, make 20,000, because it's the same formula. If you can make 20, you can make 40. Same formula. Now, what you'll find is you're going to now run out of time. It's a resource when you're doubling up. So, in order to get to your dream, you need to take tiny steps. Those tiny steps are what your big dream is built on. If you don't take those tiny steps, it's not going to happen. Yeah? People say, you need to get out of your comfort zone, right? And I'm not going to say F that because I need to be good because of Nikki and Tina are here. But that's what I would say. This is rubbish. Yeah? Why push people into a scary area? Why not just expand your zone and get bigger and bigger? Yeah? So that you don't have to feel horrible fears. So here's your action plan. You take your big goal, break it down, put it into small chunks, make the small chunks smaller until you get micro chunks. These are specific and achievable. Remember SMART, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, timely, right? So all I'm trying to do is get that big dream goal into tiny, tiny chunks, right? Create a timesheet and put those micro chunks in those time slots. Every day, if you can take one action that moves you to the goal, I'm not asking you to do five actions or 10 actions, but if you did, you'd go faster. But I'm just asking you to do one mini micro chunk. Remember small steps. Okay. This is a lady, Eva. Some of you might know her. Spent a little bit of time with her. Again, helped her do something in 20 minutes, which in fact she probably wouldn't even have done it in 2 days. Because I showed her how to break it down into mini chunks, micro bits. This is an example of a timesheet. Now, you always go back and re-look at that timesheet, and you put in all those micro chunks. Okay, so if you've got a job, I'm working here and here, but I can do this one thing here that will help me move closer to my dream life. It might be call a person, it might be email somebody, it might be ask somebody for some business. Just one thing. It isn't going and doing research, by the way. Yeah, that is not one action. That is what we call research, which if I had some time, I'd do. So one of the things that I have people do is have these goal sheets. I want to know what they're trying to achieve in a year. I break that down into monthly goals. I break the monthly goals into weekly goals. I break the weekly into daily and the daily into 1 hour. I need to know the resources. And if it doesn't work, what's gone wrong? Most people's timesheets are wrong. They underestimate the amount of time it takes to do something. So here's an example of how to make 1.2 million in a year. Take 1.2 million, break it down to monthly. That's 1 million per month, 25,000 per week, 5,000 per day, 500 per hour if you're only working 5 days a week and 10 hours per day. Can you make £500 an hour? So now I look at your skill sets and see what you've got in your arsenal to make £500. And if you can't make £500, I'll say, what can you make? £50, £12? Everyone can be a millionaire if they make £12.50 an hour. Take you 40 years. Then I'll work with you on thinking out of the box. Here's some strategies. Okay, so this is how much you make an hour, £12.50 an hour. But what can we do to save up little chunks of money and invest it, or create a new business which will have, for example, online components to increase that goal? And this is where I get unrealistic. So I've given you the reality. So here we go into get unrealistic. And here's some things you can do to help you if you've got a dream. So again, if you're spiritual, praying really helps. Ask God to provide. Don't ask God to give you money. That's stupid. Yeah, He's going to say no. It's a bit like I'm asking me. I don't know you. I don't know what you're doing. But ask for strategy, because he wants to see you do the work. Yeah. Ask your subconscious, if you're not into praying, ask your subconscious to come up with a strategy. This literally works. You go to sleep and you just say, oh, I've got a real problem there. I don't know how to solve it. Subconscious, can you deal with it? And just go to bed. Yeah. When I was married, our roof was leaking. We had tons of water coming through. I put enough buckets under there. Didn't work. And Rachel was just like very worried. And said, well, I can't do anything more. I'm going to go to bed. Yeah, and in the next day, I had something that I could do. Yeah, so ask friends. Friends are really important. Come up with a strategy. Work with them. This is one of the most important aspects that you could use to make your dreams come true. And so many people, because of their own egos, won't do this. They literally won't do that, and that's one of the best ways to help you achieve your dream goals. This is a lady I coach. She's paid me quite a bit for coaching. She, a year ago, I think she paid 0 taxes. She had a goal to earn 72,000. We did that in 14 months. Okay, helped her earn 72 grand. She already had some assets in place for me to play with. It wasn't like she was a road sweeper and then I had to teach her about sales and marketing and all that kind of stuff, because I can help make road sweepers earn a lot of money, yeah? But she already had certain mindsets in place. And what I had to do was help her get unrealistic. 8% of people who succeed are self-aware. They understand their personalities. Miles, am I good with details? If I want to be, I know my weakness. Am I sometimes too nice to people? Yes, I know my weaknesses. So these days, when I'm working with people, I say, no, you need to speak to my team, because I know my weaknesses. Now, I could fix my weaknesses, but I don't have time, and I want people to like me for me, right? I don't have time for me. So I know people who will protect me in those areas. My daughter's fierce. My daughter's fierce, right? Jessica, yeah, really fierce. She's just like, no, don't mess with my dad. Or she'll tell me off. So the biggest problem people have is their egos. It might be you give too much. You might just be an overgiver because that helps you keep in control of things. So you don't actually receive anything from people. It might be that you just don't like asking people for help. Really, really, it might be that you never like giving things to people because you're an alpha guy, right? I think Johnny doesn't really like alpha guys. Is that right? Is that like not a... Yeah, doesn't know what they are, right? So they're not authentic people. A lot of these guys who've got over and really just trying to put other people down. You need to know your strengths and weaknesses. Yeah, really, really need to know them. So I know that I'm a bit crazy when people first met me. Stephen said, no, Ben, you're not... We had lots of text messages. No, you're really not crazy, Ben. But I know how I come over. Miles has seen me stand up in the middle of underground stations and just read aloud on the underground and engage with everyone on the underground. So I know that sometimes in certain meetings, I should not be there, right? And other meetings, I should be there. You have to know these components about you. You need to know what you're good at and what you don't. Here are some online, if you like, links to tell you what your blind spots are. Now, a lot of people do one of these. They do DISC or Myers-Briggs. I don't like that. I need you to do cross-reference them. Okay, because that way you don't get pigeonholed, because we all evolved and we change. So I like this, and before I'm coaching, when I'm coaching people, I ask them what these personality tests are, and I ask them to do something called Johari's window, which is get your best friends to tell you how you come over. What do you really like? Yeah. Passionate. 8% of people who succeed are passionate about what they do. That's it. If you're not, it doesn't matter how many motivational talks you go on, you will not be motivated. You can go to Tony Robbins, you can go to in the old days, Billy Graham in the Christian world, and you can go to all these rah-rah things, but if you are not passionate, you are not going to do it. You will eventually just think, nah, this is too boring. I'm going to do it. Yeah. This is a guy who's known me for a while, teaching. I love being on stage. Guys will know that if I'm on stage, I will ditch everything else. That's what I'm passionate about. And I will do anything to be there. I love educating people. That is my core passion. Build a team. You need a team, right? Just need a team. I made my first million on my own. It was horrible. Don't ever want to do it again. Yeah. The teams I had, much slower, but it's so non-stressful. Yeah. Non-stressful. Life is just too short to spend it with people who you don't like or doing things you don't like doing things with. Patience, things will happen. Stop rushing. Yeah, it will happen. You just need that belief and passion. And never compare yourself with other people. Okay? So, you got the team, you focused, you're planned. Shall I stop now? Would you like me to carry on? Are you sure?
Yeah.
I just want to check. How many people want me to carry on?
We actually gonna do a Q&A.
Just checking. I just want, it's just like,
You got 2 more bits.
persistence, yeah. Did you see how in persistence we're carrying on? How many people have seen me post my TED talk like 5 or 6 times or 100 times, right? How many people have defriended me because they're bored with me posting it? But I'm passionate about it. I really want to do it. I don't care what people think. I'm going to help 1 million people with that talk. Just don't care. And it's difficult not to care. There's a lot of things I help people with to just really move forward on that. Yeah. There's Trajan. There he is, famous guy. Learn social magnetism, the law of 250 people. If you piss off 250 people, they know thousands of people on social media and you'll piss off thousands of people. So why not start adding value to them? I'm not joking. Law of 250. Wherever possible. And there's just some people you just have to walk away from because they're not nice people. Yeah. You really have to value yourself. Okay? Your future is hidden in your daily self-talk. If you don't value yourself, you're not going to give people enough value. There's a great phrase in the Bible. It's second best phrase. Love others as you love yourself. If you cannot love yourself properly, it's really difficult to add value and love other people properly. It took me ages to love myself. Watch the TED talk. Shows how I do. Comment on it. Due diligence. And look, everything. Your plans will never work the first time. They fail. I'm going to tell you, they fail. You need to do due diligence and you need to do risk management. What happens if this plan doesn't work? What's my backup plan? Who likes superheroes? Ben does. Why isn't Ben here? He'd like this picture. I did this just for Ben. This is a DC comic. This is a property that made us $1 million this year, right? We had tremendous problems with this property, right? Constant review and improvement. Am I doing okay? Yeah, see, constant review, really important. And then realigning. The 8% who succeed understand, ready, fire, aim, ready, do your due diligence, do your research, have a cut-off date, then execute. That's fire. It will go wrong, yeah, when you fire. That's what happened at Infinity House to us. We re-aim. Yeah, ready, fire, aim. You can Google this. If you constantly wait for things to be perfect before you live your life, in other words, you're just researching, and you never do it, you literally, your dreams will die before you even got started. You can't wait for it to be perfect. Sometimes you just have to trust somebody. These are some success factors that you need. Now, using all those things, you can get a roadmap of yourself. This is what I help people do. Here's the great offer I'm going to do. Now, these guys, who's the GTeX guys? Put your hands up. So these guys, they always want me to pitch, and I keep refusing to pitch. Have I ever pitched?
No, you haven't.
I've never ever pitched.
Brilliant time to start.
So just because I believe in financial freedom and I am financially free, I don't like to pitch. So this is my pitch. This is what people normally pay me, $5,000 for 10 sessions, which is true. It's what Natalie paid me. There's a couple of the other people some of the people have helped be millionaires. However, I don't like to offer people stuff. If you want to pay me stuff, that's great. But what I will do is give you a 1 hour, either online, Zoom, or face-to-face in return, because I don't do things for free. I like negotiation. I'd like you to share my Social Magnetism TED Talk, comment on it, and give me a LinkedIn testimonial if you like the squashed amount of time I had to give this presentation. Yeah? If you want 1 hour extra, I have my books somewhere, my Social Magnetism books, and if you'd like a signed copy, then that's £10. I don't have change, but you'll also get an extra copy to go through all of that stuff, but in 2 hours. And I will work on your specific project. Is that okay? Does that sound wonderful?
Yes. Sounds brilliant. Give Ben Chai